Hello, happy Wild Women Wednesday. Hi, beautiful people. I'm so excited to be here with you today for 5 steps to create and live your vision. Hold on one moment as I get this streaming live into the Wild Revolution. The revolution will be televised as soon as I can find it. Where are you? Where are you? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Here we go. All right, here I am. Sharing into the Wild Revolution. All right. All right, here we go. Bam, there we are. All right, cool. Ready to get started. Let me just move this thing in the background. Hi. I am excited to be here with you today. Big shout out to all the brave women who came out on Saturday. I am also recording this for you because we didn't get to it in the workshop because it was so jam-packed. So this talk is for you if you feel called to something bigger and you just feel stuck in some way and you need some momentum to get you going and some inspiration. I would love to hear from those of you watching. Raise your hand. I think there's like a raise your hand button. I don't know, or just type it in. If you are here because you are definitely feeling called to something, but you don't know how to get there. Maybe you know what it is, but you just don't. You're kind of like, well, how do I? God, it's such a big vision. How do I make this happen? Or you have a sense of what you need to do, but it needs to be broken down for you into smaller steps. So just give me a shout out if that's you. I don't know. You can do different emojis, or I don't know if there's like a raise your hand button. But I love it when it's interactive because then I know I'm just not alone hanging out here. Okay. All right. And then raise your hand if you do know what it is, and you do know how to get there, but you just feel scared as hell to figure it out. It's scared as hell to just go for it, right? So just take a deep breath into that. And raise your hand if you don't know what it is, but you feel the calling. You just feel the calling to something bigger. Emily Karate, hi beauty. But you don't quite know what it is yet. You just know you're on your way there. Yay. Aw, and Karen's here too. Hi beauties. So nice to have your company. Yay. All right, well, for those of you watching who don't know me, I am Dr. Floria Wild, and these are the steps that I've used to leave an unhappy marriage where we had a child together. It was not an easy thing to do. To find love and create a new family in my 40s, and to leave a 50-hour-a-week job to launch a business venture that, now is a healthy 6-figure business that allows me to have an impact that feels incredible. And so these are the steps that I've used to make those things happen. And I want to share them with you today. So let's just stretch. Oh, there's my armpit hair. Yes. Hi. So for those of you who are tuned in last week, some of these are going to sound a little bit familiar. I've added some more steps and beefed up the few that I shared with you already. So there's going to be a little bit of repetition, but that's not bad. I think we need to hear things maybe 5 to 8 times before they really get in. So I hope you don't mind. All right, so what I've got for you here today is step 1 is give yourself permission and room to dream, because there is so much more that's possible than what you can possibly imagine right now. So much more. I gave this example last week that, you know, we're often like choosing between these options at a buffet and not even realizing that there are other restaurants, there are other cities full of restaurants. There's so much more than you can even imagine. So imagination is hugely important. It's how little children learn. And then along the way, we forget to play and dream. So, for example, I was out hiking with somebody I love recently, and they were complaining about their job. And my understanding of complaining is it's something that we do when we feel powerless. And that powerlessness is an illusion. You know, I mean, I'm not saying it's not real. And this person, you know, was talking about how miserable they were in their job, but they were saying, oh, well, it's so much better than my last job. But they couldn't quite imagine, you know, a different career, you know, or just, you know, maybe there's a job that hasn't even been created yet. You can create your own job. So this is a little side note, is it's so important to not complain more than 5 minutes or allow other people in your lives to complain more than 5 minutes, because it solidifies the wiring that you are disempowered. And there's actually a lot of therapy that can be detrimental that allows too much of that. Okay, along with step 1, and again, those of you who were with me last week, bear with me, because there's a lot of new stuff in here, but some of it is going to be repetition. Okay, so I strongly encourage you to track your envy and just see how it shows up in your life. You know, sometimes for me, it's kind of, it'll show up as judgment, you know, like I'll be on Instagram and, you know, somebody's offering retreats in Bali, and I'm like, God, that must be so nice. And then I realize, well, you know what, I want to offer retreats in Bali. And I think we often don't allow ourselves that possibility of just, you know, maybe that might be possible for me. So just letting yourself have those dreams, and just noticing the envy and noticing that could be you. And you need to find that wise voice inside of you, and you need to listen to it. And what usually happens is the wise voice, in the beginning, the things that it tells you to do don't seem very revolutionary, and they lead to things that are hugely impactful for the people around you and the world around you. And it's so incredibly important that you listen to that voice. And so oftentimes we ignore it because it says things like, you know, you should really take more baths, you know, and you just kind of like, well, I don't have time for that. Like, thanks, wise voice. Have you seen my schedule? You know, or it'll tell you to go for a hike, or it'll tell you maybe to do something that's incredibly inconvenient, like, you know, stop being friends with that toxic person. And so we'll kind of ignore it and say, well, these other people need me, you know, I can't take that hike. But it's like, it's like you have this, you know, the most like platinum level coach available to you at all times. Like it's like a psychic merged with a coach who just like this being inside of you just knows exactly what you need to do and what the steps are, and you're just not picking up the call, you know. So what I've seen with Wild Woman Rising, I do these calls every year for people who do feel called to something bigger, and oftentimes in the first year, the call will be something that seems more like on a personal level. I'm thinking of someone who did Wild Woman Rising. In the first year, the call was around, you know, she just really felt like she needed to find her wolf pack. She was done with being a lone wolf, and she needed to know that there wasn't anything wrong with her for the things that she wanted and the way she wanted to be in the world. And through the course of her first year of Wild Woman Rising, she found her voice, and she started speaking up more and more, and then she started listening to that voice, and then that voice told her that she wanted to be a healer and a leader, and then she wanted to do Wild Woman Rising again. So we had another call, and then the call the second year is totally different. That you know, it was around stepping into leadership, and she's now in the process of leaving her agency job where she's not happy, even though it's, you know, it's this prestigious agency, and she is starting her healing practice. She's getting her first handful of clients. She's leading workshops, and she's just shining. You know, her light is shining. Your light can't shine if you don't follow the steps, and the steps in the beginning really don't seem like much, but you got to follow them. Okay, you guys ready for step 2? Who's ready for step 2? Tell me. All right. Oh, hi, Jen LaRoque. So nice to have you here. So step 2 is around committing to the dream. Once you get it, making that commitment. And what I'm talking about here is tell everyone that you trust what you're up to. I know it's freaky as hell, and I think oftentimes our instinct is to kind of hold it close, you know, and sometimes that instinct is good. You know, for example, in my marriage, I was with somebody who wasn't trustworthy. But you have a lot of people in your life who are trustworthy, and I want you to just tell them. I want you to shout it from the rooftops to those trustworthy people what you're up to. And yeah, you could totally fail, and your failure will be public. But, you know, I want you to put a stake in the ground for where you're heading. You can pivot. You can change your mind. Chances are that if you're the person who puts the stake in the ground, you're a badass. When people are interviewed on their deathbed about regrets, the people who did not have regrets were the people who played full on. And there was no relationship to success or failure. It didn't matter if they succeeded or failed. What mattered is that they went for it. And they were so happy to not have regrets. They weren't upset about the failures. So, I mean, just think about people that you admire in your life. Is it because they're all polished? Or is it because they're the kind of people who just go for it? So along the lines of commitment, I'm going to ask you to just stop saying, you know, there's different traps you can fall into. One of them is the I don't know trap. Oftentimes when I'm working individually with folks, you know, I can catch this one pretty quickly. It's like, okay, well, you've used up your 2 I don't knows for the session. You know, that oftentimes we use it as a smoke shield, right? It's like, oh, well, I don't know. And it's like, actually, you know, you do know. You're just afraid to just put your stake in the ground. Another trap is the indecision, where you stay on the fence because you don't want to decide, which I said last week, decide is the same root as homicide and suicide. You know, when you make that decision, another option dies off, and it's hard. But how draining is it to stay on the fence? Ugh, it just taps the life juice out of you, and you're not going anywhere. You're just hanging out on a fence. So, you know, make the decision and go for it. And the third trap I see is like, oh, let me just do another training program. And someone I work with the other day said so beautifully, you know, a caterpillar can just read up on becoming a butterfly as much as they want, but it's not until you completely dissolve your whole body that you can do that. You know, you have to take that action step. It's not about getting more knowledge. And most of you have plenty of training. You have plenty of knowledge. It's time to go for it. It's time to cross that border into the unknown and go for it. All right. How are we doing? Can I get an if you guys are with me? Just throw me an emoji, or I don't know. Sometimes you can make these like things. I don't know. Sometimes these like hearts explode or different things happen. It's just so nice to get like a thumbs up. Like, I'm going to be moving to, I can use Zoom to come in and bring people and do coaching with them. And I think I'm going to be doing this maybe as early as next week, so I can make this more interactive, because that's where the real juice is. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Jen. All right. You guys are with me. All right. Oh, and there's Karen. All right. You guys ready for step 3? All right. Step 3. Oh, wow. That's I love this little thumb going. I love it. Okay. Step 3. All right. And again, there's a couple repetitions in here, and it's so worth it to repeat these. All right, step 3 is get on a mission. This is one of my favorite things, is learning the power of a positive no. I will tell you what that is. Until you get in front of your schedule and decide this time is for this, you're going to be giving away your time to stuff that's less important. So you need to be the one who's in charge and say, you know, this is what I'm doing at this time and that time, and then you have to protect the hell out of it as your most sacred time, because until you have that, then you're saying yes to all these things, and there's no room. So it's the power of a positive no. So it's hard to say no, especially I think for women. You know, we've been conditioned to take care of everyone and get our value from that caretaking, you know, to earn our seat at the table. And it's so much easier to say no when it's not, no, you know, I can't do this thing that you really need, you know, or this thing that I'm really good at. But you're saying no to protect this other thing that's so much more important in the long range. It really is. It really, really is. I often give the example of when I stopped seeing insurance clients. Some of those conversations were heartbreaking. You know, there was one person in particular, you know, it was really hard. But if I hadn't stopped seeing insurance clients, I would not be leading these groups that are life-changing, you know, for dozens of women. You know, I would still be I could only see a few people a week one-on-one. And so I had a bigger mission. And sometimes there are these losses, and those are hard conversations to have. And I probably would have caved if I didn't have my vision and what I needed to do to get to that vision, and hold on to it and not get distracted by the disappointing that person in front of me and the sadness, you know, that she had as I sat there in front of her and had that boundary. Okay. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Create deadlines with consequences. So create deadlines for yourself that put a fire under you. So my best example of this is that anytime I'm doing a workshop, and even when I create a group program, I book the workshop before I even have much of an idea of what I'm going to do in it. I just come up with enough of the workshop to make a flyer and describe it to a yoga studio owner who might host it. And the same goes with the program. I create enough of a skeleton of what I'm going to do so that I can sell it. And then I put the flesh on it when those sessions come up. Because if I didn't do that, when the hell? I mean, I'm a mother of two. I'm the sole breadwinner for our family. When am I gonna just, find the time to create a whole 6-month program just cause, that may or may not happen? It's not gonna happen. But once I've got that program filled or that workshop booked, you can be sure I'm gonna, create a kick-ass workshop because people are registered. So I don't know what your version is of this, but I strongly recommend putting that fire in there, because, and even if that's just accountability, because if you don't, it's so easy to just say, why don't I just push this back another week? Who's gonna know? So yeah, there really needs to be a reason to push you to do it. And the last thing I want to say on point 3 is, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So you do need to carve out the time. You do need to make these deadlines. Or if there's stuff to clear, emotional gunk in your way, maybe that's your action item. But unless you are moving towards this dream, you're deluding yourself. And yes, there's a lot of stuff that happens underneath the surface, but there's still stuff that's happening underneath the surface. So you have to set your life up in a way that you are actively moving at, in your divine timing, but you're moving. All right, so now we are on to some brand new steps. These are a little bit less involved because, by the time you've gotten here, you've got some momentum. So here is what I love. So I am going to strongly, strongly suggest that you get a tribe. You get a tribe to quest alongside you. Research shows that we are 85% more likely to achieve our goals if we have accountability. So much of what I've been able to do has just been telling like my mastermind group, or just like, okay, like with Facebook Lives, it was so hard to start doing these however many months ago. I just kept pushing it back week after week, and then I just told my group of business women, I just said, okay, I'm gonna by our next call, I'm gonna have started. And then I knew they were gonna ask me about it, so I did it. So finding people who are gonna care about your mission and check in with you about it, and might be willing to hold you accountable. The other thing I want to say about tribe is that our conditioning came in relationship to other people, and it came through culture. So our deconditioning needs to come through relationships and through a counterculture. So this is why I only do group therapy now. I'm no longer accepting individual clients, because what I've watched people achieve through group therapy blows my mind. Sometimes in individual therapy, I feel like I'm moving someone from here to here. Hi, Jamie. And then in group therapy, it's like, because it's not just me, it's this tribe, and we're creating this culture where so much is possible, and there are people just questing right alongside you, and it normalizes it. It normalizes, like, this is what we do. We go outside our comfort zone and we achieve stuff, and you see the people next to you achieving that. and maybe some of them go first and you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad it's them and not me. You know, that looks really hard and scary. And then they get to the other side and you're like, oh, okay, I'm next. I'm ready. There's also research that, I don't know exactly how this is measured. This comes from the badass Jen Sincero, who I love if you haven't checked her out. She only has 2 books and they're incredible. She says we are the average of the 5 friends that we spend time with. So it is really important who you surround yourself with. So you want to be around people who are also questing, who have achieved the level of success that you're wanting to achieve. But when I say success, I don't necessarily mean money. I mean, you know, are they living their dreams? Are they complaining? Are they toxic? You know, are they really stuck in limited thinking, or do you have friends who are really just like living their lives the way you want to live your life? And there might be some friends that you want to let go of. You know, sometimes that happens. There's been a few in my lifetime that I have let go of. And if you don't have people in your friend group who have achieved maybe the vision that you want to achieve, another thing you can do is just find someone who has and take them out to lunch. There is nothing like someone just who has done what you want to do telling you can do it. I was just at my favorite yoga class this morning. I plan my Wednesdays all around Blake Mason's yoga class, and someone was wearing a shirt from Aaron Papas that says, you can do it. I don't know if any of you know Aaron Papas. He died in July, I guess a year and a half ago. He was an amazing yoga teacher, and you know, back when I was still working at UC Davis, I was tracking my envy, and I'm like, he's leading all these workshops. I want to lead workshops. So I took him out to lunch and I said, how do you lead workshops? Now I'm like, it's not that complicated. But at the time, like, it was this mysterious thing. He's like, he's got these awesome flyers. Like, how did he? And so I took him out to lunch and he told me his story about how he used to work at the Jelly Belly factory and was fairly miserable. And I don't even remember what he told me about how to do it. What I do remember is him saying, you can do it. So there's nothing like someone who's doing it or done it saying, yeah, you know, come on in, the water's warm. It's no big deal. All right, my friends, step 5 is pretty simple and sweet. Step 5 is give back. So once you get there, it's only natural to become a guide for the quest that you've achieved. In fact, I think that's mainly what we're here to do, is to quest and then guide. The other thing I want to say about this is the nice thing about giving back too is that you then become a role model for what you have achieved. And it's so nice because it really keeps you on track. You know, so like whatever you're a messenger for, whatever you're a guide for, you have to just keep living according to those guidelines that you have set up, so that you can stay aligned. And being able to, you know, having come through it, then turn around and reach a hand back in whatever form that might be for you, is the best high you can possibly imagine. For the last 3 years, we've gone to Hawaii, and it's just my place to refuel. It's just my spirit land. And I always get there a few days. I'm just really just juicing myself up. And then around day 3, I'm like, I want to work. I want to make a video. I want to facilitate something. I want to offer. I want to offer, because there's no high like it where you're saying something and someone's saying, you know, that thing you said, I heard it and it really shifted something for me, and I took this step and I'm so glad I did. So I want you to be able to get there, and I know many of you have, and then now, lo and behold, there's another quest in front of you. So I'm gonna be offering you some next steps. But before I do that, the first thing I want to say is keep questing. It's so worth it. It's scary as hell when you really get on that edge there, and it's so worth it. So I want to offer today, very special today, I have a few spots left. I opened up my schedule for these awesome women who came to the workshop on Saturday. Oh, what a lovely room full of women that was at the Delta Mind Body Center. And so I made some room in my schedule for them, and then I just found a few more spots. So I want to offer some one-on-one spots to those of you who are interested. This is a 30-minute call to adventure session with me. And in this call, we are going to get to the root of where you're stuck. We're going to go into the possibility, what's calling to you until it feels entirely possible. And then we're going to go up on the mountaintop together and figure out what the steps are to get you there. There is one caveat, in that these are calls for folks who might be interested in taking the longer journey with me. I have a 6-month program called Wild Women Rising. Most of you know about it already. It's a powerful journey. I don't think anyone has not gotten very far on their quest as a result of being a part of this program. It offers the accountability, the support, overcoming negative thinking, holding your hand through the fear, figuring out how to do boundaries. I'm not going to go into it any more than that because there's so much packed into this 6 months. But if you are kind of feeling the call, like, oh, I think she might be my mentor, or God, I really want some tribe and some structure, because I'm ready. I'd love to offer this call to you if you think that's something that you might be interested in. So don't take the call if you're already like, there's no way I'm going to do that. And if you are just kind of, if you are interested, you're not going to commit. You know, this is just saying, you know what, I might be interested. So this is just a 30-minute call to figure out what the next steps are for you. If Wild Women Rising might be the right vehicle, I will tell you about that. And if it's not, you're going to leave with next steps either way. So let me get that link in here for you beauties. Okay, I'm going to pop it right in here. And I don't know, I think I have like maybe 4 or 5 spots. There's not that many. I thought I went into the Wild Revolution. Did I not make it into the Wild Revolution? Where are you? What in the what? Oh, here I am. December 5th. Oh, you know why? Because I'm wearing the same outfit I wore last week. I'm confusing the Wild Women Wednesdays. Here we are. That's so funny. No, wait, that's last week. Oh, I don't know where it is. I thought I put it in here. Anyways, there's the link. I think I have 4 or 5 slots. So here we are. That I just put in the Wild Revolution too. And then I'm going to be boosting this video, sharing it with the, boosting is this thing you could do on Facebook. I don't know. I'm learning about Facebook marketing. Oh my gosh. So much to learn with that. But so I am going to be sharing this with a much broader audience. So hopefully you can grab one of those times if you're interested. If not, you can always contact me. I open up times occasionally, and there's going to be some more opportunities to get that time with me. So thank you so much. I hope next week to have figured out this whole Zoom thing so that we can interact, and I'll probably be offering some live coaching. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Good luck with your quests, and I'll be here with you almost every week into February. So keep popping in here for encouragement and possibility and inspiration. All right, love you guys. Bye.